So, I was just in Bolivia playing around, and we had the worst weather. This cold front pushed in, down jackets, camping, raining, just brutal, man. And we were off exploring, so it was just, us, which is okay, right? And we still managed a few fish, but those are really tough trips, right? When you get a bad draw with the weather and you have clients to take care of and keep them happy, man. What do you guys do? What do you think?
Well, I've personally seen, in the Seychelles or St. Brandon's, all those places far out there, is, that big pressure changes that we get, can sometimes turn fish on. I've definitely seen when the permit fishing turns on and you catch a bunch of permit, then sometimes you're going to get a bad spell of weather, but they're just capitalizing on that point. So, not all bad weather is a bad thing. And the other thing about it is when you've got lots of wind, rain around, you can also sometimes get closer to the fish, which I think is definitely an advantage. But again, that's definitely my scope on it.
In the Bahamas, the backside of a hurricane is always great fishing, right? So right before it gets crazy,
and right after
is spectacular, man.
Drastic changes in barometric pressure have always been incredible.
Fantastic.
When they drop, you get down 29. If you ever get lower than 29, it's like an explosion of fish feeding everywhere, every species. I really think so. So I don't freak out when I see bad weather. I embrace it. I love it.
For me in Belize, for real, like when I have really crappy weather that's approaching, and usually, especially on the outgoing tides, you get the lowest tides, I see the biggest fish. For me, for the permit, when the weather's coming and it's starting to get, you get that gray, that black, the tide's going out. You're seeing 30 pound fish.
Even the best trout fishing I've ever had is when the client's canceled and the guides got to go fishing, right? when the weather's all shitty.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of your photos with permit that it always looks cloudy. And
it's the last one you saw on our post when we post on social media. It was like, low tide was coming. The current was exiting the reef. A lot of water movement, and the weather was shitty. But those big fish were in low tide. Their tails were showing, and the client that I had, he put the fly, and we ended up getting like a nice 18, 19 pound permit. And it's we could have stayed home.
Yep.
Hey, look, we're talking about the positives, but sometimes it's tough.
It is.
But there's not a damn thing we can do about the weather. So, if
and you're there.
If you're there and you went specifically to catch a permit, and you're counting on high sun, and the weather comes in, and sometimes for 4 days you're screwed. If the guide says it's not happening for permit, we should do this or that. You know what? You're there. Let's not cry about it.
Take that advice.
Take that advice. And if it's going to be, unfortunately, a dredging week, meaning going out in a little deeper water and fishing some clousers down in 20, 30 feet of water to catch grouper and stuff. If that's your option, have a good time.
Yeah. Don't mope about it.
Don't be a whiner. Yeah. Don't
embrace it. Embrace it.
Nobody's ever caught a fish in the bar.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Actually, I think I can almost reach it from here.
Currier, there's a bonefish right here tailing.
That's a pretty tight loop.
Yeah. Haven't you also before also had really good hatches come off on the river when you've got like bad weather? When we're in the Vaal River in South Africa, we get hatches coming off. All the guys rush out there and we just stick it out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not a trout guy, but like right before that storm hits, it gets like dead calm. I'm sure in like Idaho where you're from, you get that dead calm before that storm hits, and it must be good.
Yeah, it's a window.
That's when you go home.
A lot of species. Yeah.
You
know what it is? I think the fish trying to get you killed.
All that's cool, man. But I'm telling you, man, lightning scares me, and at some point you got to make the right call, and the right call is to get out of it.
To beat up,
right? So you got to stay safe. The guide-client relationship is really the key to the whole thing, right? And getting your guide comfortable, will make it better for you, right? If you step in the boat and demand something, the first thing, right? That is not the tone that you really want to set for the day. If you just embrace the idea that your guide wants to catch fish as bad as you do, ask him what he wants to do, make sure you're on the same level, be a little playful, have a good time, share a beer with him in the afternoon. Those are the things that are going to open up, and it's going to make him want it more for you, right? And they're going to work harder for you. And, so develop friendships, spend some time, get to know him, learn his name, right? Don't just call him guide or you, right? Those don't work as well. When you're on the flats, the clothing is an important part of the gear. And I watch a lot of people just get fried on day one and then they're miserable for the week. So first and foremost, you just got to take care of yourself, right? Sunscreen, long sleeves, pants, wear a hat, wear shades, buff, whatever it is that makes you comfortable to get out of the sun. The bright color argument is really tough. It certainly is never going to help you, right? So there's no chance that the bright red or bright pink shirt is going to help you catch more fish, so you might as well leave it at home, right? There's a reason that everything you buy is kind of neutral, muted colors. And at the very least, it's not going to make your guide angry. Yeah, the bright colors in all the pictures, those are really done for the pictures. I mean, sometimes you're changing shirts so the picture looks great, or sometimes you're just getting it done with the bright shirt because the camera guy makes you do it. But, all things being equal, when it's just about the fishing, you want to keep it very natural. When you're planning a fishing vacation, you want to do everything you can to maximize the potential to have great fishing. So people are always asking, when's the best time? What's the right moon? What's the right tide? And the honest answer to all of that is go when you can, right? Make good decisions, get informed advice. In some places, the moon really matters. In some places, the tide really matters. In a lot of places, it doesn't, right? There's advantages and disadvantages to all of it. But go when you can, and if you put in the time, eventually you're going to catch it right. The moon can impact the fishing for the big three in different ways. I actually really like the big moons, the full moon and the new moon for permit and tarpon, because I love that it moves water. The moving water moves food, and that gets those fish going, and in my mind creates more opportunity. You might have limited windows during each of those days where the fishing is great, but those windows I find more valuable. For bonefish, I really find the moon doesn't matter at all, except if it's a moon they're spawning on. And bonefish, unfortunately, can spawn on a new or full moon, and they can spawn 6 months of the year, right? And leading up to spawning, the fishing's spectacular. You get a couple days where it's really tough, and the backside of it, fishing's great again. So as long as you spend enough time in a place, no matter what, it's going to work out just fine.